the unit, like kilograms, grams, and all of that stuff. Speed has to do with our cars. When we usually talk about speed, what units is it usually in? Not American, but in Canadian. What is the speedometer in? David?
Kilometers per hour?
Yep, kilometers per hour.
Wait for your say or Canadian?
In the U.S., it's miles per hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're also in kilometers too as well.
Is it?
I think
No, they actually do both because they don't know.
Is it? I don't know. I haven't actually seen that. Yes, he hasn't.
Is there a difference between miles per hour and kilometers?
Yeah, it's just a conversion. Like there's,
Yeah.
I think miles per hour is less. So if you're driving 120, that's the equivalent of driving what I think 80 miles per hour or something like that. Yeah. Yes, Gian, you had something to say? Gian, you had something to say?
Oh, this is what like in multicultural countries I'm pretty sure Liberia was just a nation in Africa. Or was it called the US?
I have no idea. Geography? I don't know anything about geography.
Yeah, it's like.
Okay. And then we have percents. So where do we see percents in everyday life when it comes to what? Kareem? Yep, battery on phone. What else? Maya? You know, taxes, which people love. And something else, Laura? Nutritional value. So it says like X amount of percent is fiber. And in discounts, when we go to the store, discounts. So those are examples of percentages. Okay. So like we said, already talked about before, a rate compares quantities that are measured in different units. For example, speed is the ratio between what? What is speed the ratio between? Speed is a ratio between what two things? Matthew.
Maybe how fast you're going.
Okay. Sean?
Like fast and slow.
Okay.
Distance, different time.
Yeah. Our speed is the ratio between distance and time.
Oh, because how much kilometers do you do an hour?
Which is why we have usually kilometers per hour. Okay. So a rate and a ratio can go hand in hand. A ratio is a comparison of quantities measured in the same units. A ratio can be written within the ratio form. So 3.6 or in a fraction as 3/6. So you can have it in ratio form and then convert it as a fraction. The first number in the ratio, so this guy over here, will be your numerator. And the second number, which is 6, will be your denominator. So for example, if I have a recipe that says I need 1 part water and 3 parts, let's say, flour, and if I were to ask you to double this recipe, what would the new ratio be? Austin. 2:6. It'd be a 2:6 ratio. Or ideally, you can just write it as a fraction. So I'm going to write or. You can write it as 1/3. And then if you want to double it, you have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2. And as Austin said, it will give me 2/6. So ratio is the same idea as having equivalent fractions. So if you understand equivalent fractions, you will understand ratios. So make sure you're writing this down on your handout because I gave it to you so you can actually write it down instead of writing notes. I think you guys wrote enough notes already. Okay, so any questions about speed and distance or about rates and ratios? Or is it pretty straightforward? Okay. So we have our first example. which is a car travels 348 kilometers in 4 hours. I want to figure out how fast the car was traveling. So I need to figure out my speed. So how am I going to figure out the speed of this car using the distance and the time, Matthew?
I'm going to divide 348 by 4,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'd be like 87.
Oh, you did already? 87 kilometers per hour, which means that the car was traveling at a speed of 87 kilometers per hour.
Not a highway.
Definitely not the highway. Now, we can actually use this information if I wanted to figure out, okay, if I drive this speed and I want to drive for like 10 hours, how far can I get? You're not going to get far. It's a pretty slow drive. It's only 870 kilometers. So if you guys ever are driving on the highway in the future and you're trying to figure out how long it will take you to get somewhere without using Google Maps, for example, I went to Quebec over the summer and it was a 750 kilometer ride. It was deadly. So I was averaging about 120 on the highway, so I was like, you know what? I'll probably get there within 6 hours if there's no traffic. So I think we got there in like 6.5, 7 hours because we had to take a pit stop because driving for that much just hurts the back. Uncomfortable. I'm never driving to Quebec ever again. Never. I don't want to drive that far ever again. I think the farthest I'll go will be Ottawa, but that's it. That is it. Okay.
How about London, Ontario?
That's close. Anything farther than 6 hours is just way too much. Okay, now we're going to move on to a rate question. So what is better? What is the better deal? 1.5 kilograms of coffee for $9.99 or 800 grams of coffee for $5.50. Now think about what I said about the grocery store. Do we want our answer as kilograms per dollar or dollar per kilogram? Which one would be the better rate to find? Sean. Okay. Anyone think differently? Sure. What did I say about the price at a grocery store when you look at fruit, Maya?
It's like how much it weighs, like depends on how much. But no, sorry, the amount of money you pay depends on how much it weighs.
Yeah. So, like I said, in grocery stores, you usually have 99 cents per pound. Okay, and that would be your unit price. Yes, Ethan.
So it would be dollar per kilogram?
Yep. It would be dollar per kilogram because it's the more practical. Sean, you can use kilograms per dollar because as long as you find which one is less, it'll tell you which one's the better deal anyways. Yes, Matthew.
Actually, do the math. 3,200 grams, which is like 200 grams more than 4 kilograms, is $23 compared to the $19, which is the like per kilogram.
Okay.
So do the math for it.
Wow.
All right, that's fine. So when it comes to this, as you can see, I have a measurement in kilograms and a measurement in grams. Now, the question I have for you guys is, would it be better for us to convert from kilograms to grams or from grams to kilograms? Gian. Grams, you said grams to kgs? Okay. Who remembers how many grams are in 1 kilogram? Let's see, Maya? 1,000. So in order to figure out how many kilograms are in 800 grams of coffee, what would that conversion end up being? Matthew?
0.8 for sure.
Yep, 0.8 kilograms. Now I can start my first deal, which is the one with the 1.5 kilograms and the $9.99. So I'm going to take the unit price is equal to the price, which is $9.95, divided by my 1.5 kilograms. And what would that give me as my price per kilogram?
For the gram one?
For the first deal.
So 1.5 kilograms.
Pardon?
Which one are we talking
$9.95 divided by 1.5. What would that give me?
about? 3.1.
Nope, it'll be 6 something. Maya?
It's 6.63.
So it's $6.63 per kilogram of coffee. So that would be my unit price for my first deal. Now the second deal, the one I converted from grams to kilograms, my unit price is going to be $5.50. And I'm going to divide that by my 800 grams, but since I converted it into kilograms, I'm going to divide it by 0.8 kilograms. And who can tell me the unit price for my second deal? David. $6.80, 88 cents. So what unit price is the best one in this case? Dion? The first one. Do you guys now understand why people like going to Costco?
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Because the unit price always appears cheaper at Costco because they sell in higher quantities. Therefore, the unit price on those items are less than if you were to just buy like a 6-pack at a regular grocery store. Which is why you can get like, I don't know, like the 24-pack of bubbly at Costco is cheaper than buying 2 12-packs at a superstore at Loblaws. I think the 8-pack of bubbly water is $8.49 for 24, and at the superstore it's $5 for one.
Are you talking about the real Canadian superstore?
Yeah, the real Canadian superstore. So as you can see there, it pays off buying bulk, but sometimes there's no need to buy bulk. Hence, you just take the bullet and go to a regular grocery store because you don't need that much food. You bite the bullet. So therefore, the first one is the better deal. How many of your parents go to Costco and buy stuff? Like they bring back like big boxes of stuff.
Like $8.
I used to go to Costco for the $1.50 hot dog. They used to be the best thing ever. Then I haven't had one in years. So yeah, she got one next time. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about examples with ratios. So at a recent school event, 36 child tickets were sold, 28 youth tickets were sold, and 60 adult tickets were sold. What is the ratio of child to total tickets sold in simplest form? So how many child tickets are there? How many child tickets sold? Kareem? 36. How many total tickets were sold? Is it 124? Yeah. Okay. So now, or you can also write it as a fraction, 36 over 124. If I need to simplify this, what's the biggest number that can be divided by both 36 and 124?
2.
You can go higher than 2.
4.
John? 8? Anything? Oh, actually, 8 can't go into 36. Yeah. Adam?
6.
6 times 6, 36. What's 124 divided by 6? That give me a whole number?
No.
Nope. So what would it be? Matthew?
12.
We'll try 4. So 36 divided by 4 is 9. And what's 124 divided by 4?
Oh yeah, what do I?
31.
31. So this would be the simplest form that this ratio can get. So we can do the same thing with the fraction divided by 4, and I still get 9 over 31. Now we have the same example. We're using the same numbers, just a different ratio. So this one we're going to have 3 different ratios. So we need to figure out the ratio between child to youth to adult sold in simplest form. So we know our child ticket is 36, our youth is 28, and our adult is 60. And I need to reduce this into simplest form. So again, what's the biggest common factor that can be divided by all of these? Gian? 4? So 36 divided by 4 gives me 9, 28 divided by 4 gives me 7, and 60 divided by 4 gives me 15. And as you can see here, I can't divide anything by those 3 numbers because besides 1, because they'll just give me a decimal.
but I just couldn't figure out.
Here, Daniel. So, pretty easy stuff. You guys shouldn't stress about this too much. Like I said, I have full confidence that you guys will do pretty well on this next test. Just learn from the mistakes from your quiz, and just do better on the test. I'm gonna give you guys a couple seconds to copy this down before I move on. That's that I still have to do.
Vivian,
Yeah, I already did it.
Mr. Garcia, Vivian asked when's the test.
It's on Tuesday. Vivian. I don't know. I have to figure it out. I do questions on the fly, Matthew. I don't have these prepared. Okay. Now, next one is a proportion. Okay, so proportion is a statement that two ratios are equal, like equivalent fractions. So that's what a proportion is. So, for example, 3 over 6 is equal to 1 over 2. What did we do to 6 to get to 2? We divided by what? Matthew? 3. So again, like I said, proportion is another fancy way of saying equivalent fraction. So, for example, 4, I need to determine the unknown value for each of the following. So I need to figure out what 56 over 50 is as an equivalent fraction. So to get from 50 to 20, what did I divide by to get to that number? Here, decimals are going to be used for proportions because they do exist. So what do I divide 50 by to get to 20? Gian? 2.5. Which means now, in order to figure out x, I need to divide 56 by 2.5. So who can tell me what that gives me? 2.5 divided by 56. It's a 34.
I think it's 22.4.
22.4? 26. How? Oh, right. No, you guys are right. I got confused for a bit. Yep. Yeah, 22.4 over 20 is the same thing as saying 56 over 50. Okay. Sometimes you're going to get a decimal as your numerator or denominator, but that's completely fine in this case. Now for B, how do I figure out what 15 over 24 gives me as an equivalent fraction of 42 over x? So I need to figure out how I got from 15 to 42. What do I do to figure that out, Maya? You multiply by 2.8. Okay. Now, Maya got that answer, for those of you who are wondering. She took 42 and you divided it by 15, right? And that's how she got 2.8. So now, what is my denominator for the new fraction? $67.2. Okay. So everyone's good with this? Pretty easy stuff. So now we can go to practical examples, which involve sales. So ski jackets cost $100. That is expensive. And ski pants cost $80. So the ratio of jackets to pants is 3 to 2, or if you want to write it as a fraction, 3 over 2. So how many jackets are sold if there are 16 pants sold? So we're going to use my original ratio. So I have 3 to 2. My numerator is my jackets, and my denominator is my pants. So I know my pants sold is 16. I need to figure out what my numerator is, x. So what am I going to do to figure that out? Dion. Mm-hmm. To get from 2 to 16, I multiply by 8, which means I need to multiply this guy by 8. So my 3 over 2 original ratio turns into 24 over 16, meaning that when there are 16 pants sold, 24 ski jackets are also sold as well. Therefore, 24 jackets are sold. So now for B, we have what are the total amount of sales for jackets and pants if 16 pants are sold? So we know that when there's 16 pants sold, we have 24 jackets, which is what we got from the beginning. So 16 pants and 24 jackets. So I need to figure out how much they make when they sell this exact amount of pants and jackets. So what am I going to multiply my 16 pants by to get the total amount? Matthew. 80. And what's 16 times 80? What amount is that? Adam? 1280.
Yeah.
And for my jackets, I got to multiply by 100. And that gives me a profit of $2,400. Okay. So now my total amount or my total sale is going to be 1280 plus 2,400. So how much money do they make in total selling 16 pants and 24 jackets, Matthew?
3,680.
Yep. $3,680.
Where's that company? I'm trying to invest.
Well, that's how much that company makes. They're not buying the jackets. People are buying the jackets.
And that probably costs like almost half of that just to make and ship and put the jackets in the store. And then the stores also run.
So any questions so far? No. Okay. So now we're going to move on to example 6. So a punch is made with orange juice, lemonade, and ginger ale in the ratio 2 parts orange juice to 3 parts lemonade to 10 parts ginger ale. How much orange juice, lemonade, and ginger ale are needed to make 75 liters of punch? So how would you guys figure that out? Gian? 10 to
10 to 15 to 50.
When you just multiply it,
you said 10 to 15 to sorry. 10 to what?
10 to 15 to 50.
Okay, and how did you get that?
Oh, like I used a different method, but like I just write it down here.
You can say it in words.
Oh, okay, so you know like the ratio to like 2 to 10?
Mhm.
I basically just multiply by variable x. I just solve for it like that.
Okay.
So it was 5, so multiply by 5, so it makes 15
Okay. So in other words, what he's saying is we have 2 liters of orange juice to 3 liters of lemonade to 10 liters of ginger ale. How many total liters is in the original ratio? 15, right? So now if I need to figure out how much I need to make for 75 liters, I need to figure out how many times 15 can go into 75. So we do that by taking 75 and dividing that by 15. And what does that give me? 5, which means we have to multiply each individual ingredient by 5. And like Gian said, that's how we got 10 to 15 to 50, because when you add these parts together, you get 75 liters of punch. Does everyone understand that? Okay. So take a moment to copy that, and then I'll move on to the last page of the lesson. Okay, so I'm gonna move down. Ethan, you got that?
Yeah.
Copied? Okay, cool. So like I said, please copy this down. Don't make me waste paper for no reason. Because I don't like wasting paper for no reason. Okay. So as you guys know, percent means, for example, just something out of 100. So when you get your test back, it's always you get your mark, you take the top number divided by the total, and then multiply by 100, and then you get your percentage. So for example, 75% means 0.75 or 75 out of 100, which means you got 75 points out of 100. So now we can use percentages when we're looking for discounts or sale items at a store. So in this case, we have a pair of hockey skates sell for $225, and they are on a discount for 20%. Okay. So first of all, how are we going to find my discounted price? The first discounted price. How are we going to find that out? What are we going to do with my 225? Matthew.
You're gonna multiply it by 0.2,
Yep. Multiply that by 0.2.
which will then give you how much 20% of that number.
Yep. So what would 20% of 225 give me?
45.
45. Yep. It's $45. So that's just my discount. That is not my discount price. Now to get my discounted price, I need to take my skates, which are 225, and subtract it from 45. And what would my first discounted price be? Maya? 180. So my first discounted price with 20% off is 180. Now, they are further reduced by a discount of 15% off of the sale price. So now we have to use the discounted price that we got and use that to help us with the sale price. Yes, John?
What do you want?
Hopefully. I don't know. I haven't done the math yet. So my sale price is going to be, so we're going to figure out how much of 15% is 180. We're going to take 180 and multiply it by 0.15. And that's going to give me my sale discount. And let's see if Gian is right. 180 times 0.15. That is the same thing as taking off $27. So like I said, this is my second discount. So my actual sale is going to be 180 minus $27, and that would give me 153, right?
Did you check out the last part?
So now I need to figure out what the hell this gives me with taxes, because taxes are just deadly. So now I need to determine the total price, including 13% HST. So Matthew, how do I do the total price?
153 times 0.13.
Is there an easier way to do it?
No, I'll try to. I'm ending at 19.89. Then you just add the price here.
Yes, we do have. So as Maya said, my total price is going to be 153 times 1.13. And what does that give me, Maya?
$172.89.
Which means that therefore the total price is 172.89. So now the homework is on the Google Classroom.